Hi there, welcome back to Apatros Review. In this episode, Leprechaun, directed by Mark Jones in the year 1993. Hi there, welcome back to Apatros Review, your guide to the wild world of science fiction action horror cinema with me, your host, Mila Sipka. If you want to spell my name, just go to the channel name. Now, in this episode, we look at the original film in this franchise called Leprechaun. I'm not doing any of the sequels, but if you want to get a copy of this on DVD in Australia, it was released for Rainbow Entertainment in a box set of the first 3 Leprechaun films. 4:3 ratio, looks like it was taken off of VHS, almost, and stereo sound and no extras. Now, ever wondered how Jennifer Aniston got herself noticed before she became one of Hollywood's most highly paid magazine cover girls and married Brad Pitt, and became a household name thanks to the highly successful but hideously overrated sitcom Friends? Well, this might surprise you. Aniston followed the Jamie Lee Curtis School debut by starring in a horror film. Only a couple of problems with this approach. First, Jamie Lee Curtis is an excellent actress who has a good skill for acting and can play a wide range of genres, from comedy to horror, while Aniston is a pretty mediocre actress who has proven herself to play only one type of role well, the neurotic Valley Girl stereotype who gets annoying when you see her in the post-millennial romantic comedies she's been starring in ever since Friends' demise. Second, and this one's a doozy, the horror film that Aniston made her debut in is nowhere even near the stature of the sublime Halloween. Instead, she starred in Leprechaun. North Dakota, 1983. Dan O'Grady has become a rich man, rich beyond his wildest dreams, after his trip to Ireland to bury his dead mother. No, it wasn't due to anything in the will. Dan had captured a leprechaun and forced it to give him his pot of gold, as per Irish folk protocol. He'd shipped the pot of gold to the USA in an urn, pretending to hold his late mother's ashes, while he flew stateside in luxury. But the leprechaun, his gold he stole, didn't take too kindly to being screwed. The green cardless creature somehow got past customs in O'Grady's suitcase, and before O'Grady gets wise to his fate, the crafty creature kills his wife and tortures Dan into having a stroke. But before the stroke happens, Dan shoots the leprechaun, stuffs the pint-sized bastard's body in a crate in the basement, and places a 4-leaf clover on the crate to render the creature powerless. In this movie, 4-leaf clovers are like kryptonite to leprechauns, and attempts to burn the crate. Pity then, since Dan is unable to light the bloody thing before its stroke occurs. 10 years pass by. In all that time, the leprechaun sits inside the crate, waiting for the day when he can be free of the crate and recover his pot of gold. You see, when you have sold your soul for that pot of gold, and are a 2,000-year-old demonic elf, you can afford to wait a little. What's a 10-year wait compared to the 2 millennia you've already lived through? Soon, the leprechaun gets his chance. After all, the luck of the Irish has held true here, and this little bugger is as Irish as green beer. Flash forward to 1993. Californian spoiled brat Tori Redding and a simpler heart father J.D. Redding have moved to North Dakota for a summer vacation. They have bought out the old O'Grady place, unaware of the menace in the basement, and despite initial fears, Tori decides to give the place a chance. It also helps that she has something of a crush on the local handyman Nathan, and in an effort to prove herself to him, decides to be brave and beat the stereotypes surrounding Valley Girls by helping out with the renovations. Nathan also has 2 friends assisting with the work: Alex, a young boy with an Eric Cartman-sized potty mouth, and Ozzy, a mentally handicapped but good-natured man who is often the butt of Alex's jokes. So far, everything goes well. But when Ozzy, while cleaning the basement, accidentally brushes off the desiccated 4-leaf clover off the crate, the leprechaun wakes up. Bursting out of the crate is the meanest and craftiest bastard under 4 feet tall you've ever seen, and who also has a pretty sick sense of humor with a hint of sexual edge to it. You can call him the Leprechaun of Leprechaun. Ozzy's attempts to raise the alarm fail due to nobody believing him, but after Tori's father's hospitalized after being bitten by the leprechaun, and with the little bugger stalking the woods surrounding the house looking for a spot of gold, Tori, Nathan, and Alex finally wise up to Ozzy's warnings and form a plan to rid themselves of the nasty little lep. Locating the pot of gold, they return to the leprechaun, thinking it will stop the terror. But they realize that he will not stop until he's taught them a lesson, and the fact that Ozzy accidentally swallowed one of the gold coins, making him a marked man. Tori visits Dan O'Grady in the hospital, but the creature beats her to him, fatally wounding O'Grady. Before he dies for her, O'Grady informs Tori the only way to kill the creature: place a 4-leaf clover on the leprechaun's body to render him powerless, then kill him. Rushing back to the house, Tori frantically searches a clover patch for a 4-leaf clover, and finally finds one with little faith. Alex slingshots the clover into the left's mouth before they push the little bastard down a well and fill it with petrol and lighting it. The well explodes, the humans are safe, the leprechaun's soul is trapped in the well, waiting for another chance to resume his mortal mission to inflict sadistically inclined terror again. Leprechaun was an attempt by former A-Team story and scriptwriter Mark Jones to create another viable Freddy Krueger formula badass who dispatches victims while uttering cheesy puns. It didn't go quite well with the genre crowd. In fact, the film became a laughingstock as soon as it was released. But to be fair to Leprechaun, the film might be silly as hell and never even remotely scary. Even 5-year-olds will be laughing their heads off at this ridiculous storyline. But it does conduct its business with plenty of boundlessly daft cartoony energy. For example, Jones has a leprechaun constantly find various novelty ways to move around. The leprechaun uses a wheelchair, tricycle, roller skates, toy car, even killing a shop owner by running over his chest with a pogo stick, the film's trademark scene, and dodges shotgun blasts by riding a skateboard. Pint-sized actor Warwick Davis finally gets a chance to do some silly horror acting for his central role as a leprechaun. This becomes one of Davis's best roles. He gives the filming sketch character some good presence of a strong performance and plenty of rhyming Irish puns and one-liners. On the other end of the acting spectrum, Jennifer Aniston, for all her fame, is a particularly poor actress. All of her performances, including this one, make her look pathetically neurotic. Although Leprechaun remains her best work and the only genre work she ever did, which is not surprising since her character is a little better than a walking cliché. The gore effects by Gabe Bartalos are minimal but adequate, and the plot is so daft that you'll be finding plenty of things to laugh yourself sick at. In the end, Leprechaun is it might be an average time waster, but it's notable for 3 things. First, got Jennifer Aniston noticed, despite a mediocre performance, although she fares better here than all of her subsequent film work. Second, it gave Warwick Davis something to base his career on and make himself a worthy addition to the horror villain pantheon. And third, made a surprisingly durable franchise to the horror genre. I mean, there were something like 5 sequels. Leprechaun 2, also known as One Waiting Lots of Funerals, Leprechaun 3, Leprechaun 4, Leprechaun in Space, released on Australian VHS as Space Platoon, the hip-hop based Leprechaun in the Hood and Leprechaun Back to the Hood, all of which were directed by various other directors, and a prequel, Leprechaun Origins, 2014, although there was actually a reboot made a few years ago as well. Let's make that 6 sequels, all of which were other directors. And by the way, Leprechaun Origins and the new Leprechaun film were only ones that didn't have Davis playing the Leprechaun. He decided to quit the horror genre after becoming a parent. There was even a cult comic book series that proved itself popular. Not a terribly good film by any measure, but if you don't mind a daft cartoon of a film that happens to have Jennifer Aniston in it, this might be worth a look. Also applicable to keeping 10-year-olds entertained during Halloween-themed family movie nights. Now for some trivia note. Some interesting facts about this film. Warwick Davis also played a friendly leprechaun in a very unlucky Leprechaun, a children's film that is unrelated to this franchise. And for some handy but ultimately useless trivia, John Volstad, the actor who plays the ill-fated shop owner, the guy the Leprechaun basically hops onto him with his pogo stick on his chest, was previously well known for being one of the Darryls on the Bob Newhart show. Don't ask me how I know this, I just do. Now for the gore. There's a little gore here, but this wasn't meant to be a gore fest. The nastiest thing in this movie is that 4-foot-tall green bastard of an elf, and he kills without being too brutal. Cause a pogo stick death as well. Now for nudity. There's nothing like that here. I thought Jennifer Aniston could have chosen to bear something to entertain the fans a bit. Nothing from her, unfortunately. But this is meant to be a kids' movie. Very little gore, no nudity. Seriously? That being said, there's a rather funny scene where the lep grabs Aniston's ankle, and her response indicates to her obviously naive father that his daughter may not be as innocent as she looks. This clipping joke of a film gets a C, 4 out of 10 rating from me. It's just an average film and the first entry in a surprisingly durable one-joke horror film franchise. So to recap, Leprechaun gets a C. Now, I don't do requests, but if you want to have a particular film in my collection, just hit me up in the comment section. Also, if you have any certain topics of the sci-fi, horror, and action genre you want me to catch on, just give me a hit in the comment section. I'll see if I've got anything coming up. Hope you guys are staying safe. Take it easy, relax, enjoy your day, and that's it for this review.